So it starts off with Stag turning around and seeing Harrison Wells just sitting there, asking him how he got in the building. Knowing this man Wells, he probably ran past everyone, placed down the wheelchair and sat back down, talking about the weather's been real nice today. And once Stag started talking about how there's that red speedster running around and he's gonna be the one to get him, Wells had to take off the Cartier glasses. He was so pissed, he stopped worrying about the fashion, stood up out his wheelchair and stabbed Stag through the heart. And that was our first real introduction to how evil the Reverse Flash really is. At one point, Joe was going through the old case files for the murder of Barry's mom, trying to figure out a way to prove that Barry's dad was innocent. And the Reverse Flash was like, I'm here to tell you right now.
We don't care.
He passed through and took all that shit, made sure the place was spotless, and left a message telling Joe that if he speaks, Iris is about to end up in the ground. And I already know what you're thinking. Every single Iris hater out there is jumping for joy, cause if she does end up in the ground, half the viewers are gonna be screaming at their TV, Joe, what are you doing? Don't stop the investigation. Wanted her gone. A couple weeks pass by and this doctor is running for his life. He spent those extra years getting that PhD just to be able to lock himself in a gated community to stay far away from any thugs. What did the Bone Thugs and Harmony say?
We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs.
Exactly. He be walking around knowing he's got that elite credit score.
I'm white.
So once he heard that alarm, to him, it sounded like the trumpets. He thought it was his time. Locking himself in the lab, seeing the Reverse Flash put down the two guards and stare him down before just running off. So when the cops came by, Barry and Joe asked him what he saw, and he described a yellow blur that just ran through the building. Barry was jumping for joy. He's been waiting for this. Barry, my nigga, them files are long gone. Barry started tearing up.
This is all I got.
Later, we find out that the reason the Reverse Flash went to visit Mercury Labs was to steal some tachyons, get that illegal power boost. Every time Barry blinks, the Reverse Flash is gonna be another kilometer away, like these.
Ooh, got his ass.
Someone does me like that, and I'm gonna be the definition of an American. Just try me, I dare you. Barry was chilling in his office, thinking about his mother's case, until Iris passes by, telling him that Eddie wants her to move in with him, and that Eddie is concerned because he thinks that Barry is in love with Iris. Mind you, she just saw this man Barry was already in a bad mood thinking about his mother, and she's talking about, I'm sorry. Anyways, Eddie thinks you like me. Bitch! She leaves and Barry looks out the window, and look who's standing there. Stood up out the wheelchair, put on the suit and said, yeah, he gonna see the fit from over there. And I ain't gonna lie, this shit tough. But bro, we see the bullets. And Barry chased after him.
You killed my mother! Why?
If you want to know that, you're gonna have to catch me.
They ran through the whole city and made their way to the stadium. Running in, and Barry gets flipped. And the Reverse Flash was already staring him down. Called him slow, and I'm not just talking mentally, and just ran off again. Going around the stadium, back to the field, tossed him and kicked him. My goat is washed. I saw someone comment on the last Flash video thanking me, saying that I just convinced them to never watch the show. And I ain't gonna lie, with the way Barry just got done, I can't even blame, bro. I almost stopped watching this shit too. But at the same time, bro, put some respect on his name. Watch the show. He was getting worked so crazy. Went for the after image, gut check, knee to hip, left, right, stomach, and got thrown down. I almost disliked my own video, bro. The fact that I really decided to talk about this ass beating is disrespectful to Barry. They had his missed punch in slow motion, palmed back, and the Reverse Flash was moving so fast. He was over here behind him, and Barry was still looking at the grass. Nigga was lost, frozen, or had to stick up his ass. He couldn't move and got tackled to the ground. He's lucky that the Reverse Flash decided to just leave. but he got so embarrassed that he wasn't in the mood to talk for real. They asked Dr. McGee from Mercury Labs to pass over the tachyon particles for the police investigation, but she said nah. She don't trust Harrison Wells, and Barry blackmailed her into passing them over. They were so concerned for him that when the time came for them to use the tachyons to make a trap using a force field to try and capture the Reverse Flash, the team decided that Barry shouldn't be here for this. You lost, but my win rate is damn near impeccable. But nigga, you lost. It's time to retire. Sounds just like them haters in the IG comments. Imagine if LeBron were to miss an open dunk. They would be saying he's 50 years old. He needs to worry about his grandkids. Barry was so scared that the Reverse Flash would sneak up to end him. He went to go see his father in prison and even decided to go see Iris. Walked through that door and told her to sit down. It's time for him to confess his love. Look, Iris, just forget about Eddie. I know he be in them guts like these. He not putting in no type of work. Just come be with me, please. But she ain't even say a word. For once, she decides to stop talking, and it's when she actually needs to talk. Barry would ask her to stop writing stories about the Flash though, and she can't shut up. It's so crazy. The team captured the Reverse Flash in their force field, and they went to work. Pulled up with straight shooters. They feeling the presence. They can't handle it. Eddie is literally shaking. I'm seeing the boots leave his feet. He said nah. He can barely hold the gun steady. You stand too close, he gonna shoot you by accident. Joe walks up and asks why he murdered Nora Allen. Reverse Flash ain't even look in his direction.
Wells, we meet at last.
I knew this would work. I built this trap taking in consideration how exceptionally fast you are, how perfect of a being you are. You're probably way better than the Flash.
Some would say I'm the reverse.
Cisco had to stand up out his chair. That was tough. Wells set himself up with the perfect lob. He not slick. Wells gets taken and starts getting beat up.
I turn it off, that thing's gonna get out.
And I ain't gonna lie, this is probably one of the stupidest things Cisco has ever said in the show. We've just seen the Reverse Flash grab Wells and start beating on him. And even though the cameras went down and Cisco can't really see what's going on, just staring at the screen like Tony, he can still hear Joe screaming, telling him that the Reverse Flash is gonna kill Wells. Cisco, take down the barrier! And he still says,
I turn it off, that thing's gonna get out.
Nigga, clearly he's already out. He had Wells by the collar and gave him a mean left. Joe had to turn off the barrier himself. He took the tachyons before taking out all the police officers and standing in front of Eddie. But you already know, when there's danger, Joe West is the first one to shoot. He said nah, an old lady just stole a banana from the grocery store. You getting shot! Pulling the trigger and getting choked out. But Barry received that superhero call, that Timu version of the bat signal, a simple text message, but he was ready to go. Saved Joe and made their way outside, where I see Barry get thrown on a car, and the Reverse Flash was so disrespectful. He just turned away. Barry tried to stop him, got manhandled, punched, and thrown over the shoulder, and he was moving like Thanos. Had the opponent kneeling in front of him, breaking the hand, right, left, uppercut. Took off his mask and kneed him to the ground. Barry was laid out, making snow angels. I thought it was over, but Ronnie came out of nowhere to save him. So the Reverse Flash had to run away. And the next thing you know, we see Wells place the tachyon enhancer on his suit. This one episode really made the Reverse Flash seem unstoppable. Everyone who watched this episode live was back at home screaming at their TV. Barry, just move to Nova Scotia, bro, please. It's not this deep. But when that next episode aired and he told Cisco, yo, Cisco, up the difficulty. And instead of running away from the missile, he decided to run towards it and redirect it. This shit meant something to me, man! But he still needs a bit more practice if he wants to win against the Reverse Flash. I remember when Wells was getting attacked in his own home, and the first thing this man did was pick up the Vivette gun for the fashion. How he gonna use a gun when he can run faster than a bullet? Yeah, that's what I thought. Joe and Cisco go to Barry's old house, and once that door was open, Joe damn near saw the love of his life. He was convinced that milk expired, but this one is one of a kind. He looked into them eyes and damn near folded. Almost gave her his social security. They continue with their investigation, cause Cisco figured out that there was actually 2 speedsters, and they find blood on the wall and realize that it's blood from both speedsters that were there. So Joe said, "Yo, Cisco, can you run the samples against the DNA of Harrison Wells?" Cisco damn near fell to his knees. He was appalled. "Dr. Wells gave me a chance. I was nothing before he gave me this job. Stop the dick riding, little bro, and run them tests." And later that day, Cisco called up Joe, telling him that the blood didn't match Wells, but one did match Barry's. "Nigga, we already know Barry was there that night." Cisco had to explain that it was Barry as an adult. So the first thing Joe did was bring Barry back to his childhood home, gave that man some more trauma, and explained the situation to him. And here comes Wells, trying to act oblivious. Time travel. Nope, don't know none about that. He be trying to act so naive. Whole time, he's torturing people. Just look at how he did General Island, who was acting like a pest. He was going around trying to capture metahumans, pulled up on Ronnie with an entire army, and when the Flash showed up to save him, somehow Eiling managed to take out the Flash, threw up this thing that released a bunch of needles that prevented him from moving. I guess, bro. As if I'm just supposed to stay here and believe Barry couldn't just have moved out the way. But Eiling was causing so much problems, Wells decided to deal with him himself. The lights started flickering, and next thing you know, he was erased from my screen and brought over to the sewer. And when I saw Wells take off his mask and show himself to Eiling, I was like, nah. Had Grodd stomping down that tunnel, looking at Eiling, ready to give him nightmares. Grabbing him by the legs. Grodd watched King Kong and said, that's a great idea. Wanted some of that milk too. But the best Wells could do was a white man. Grodd gonna be real disappointed when it's time to get freaky. Caitlin was trying to talk to Cisco, but he was ignoring her. Fine, I'll watch all the episodes of The Walking Dead with you. The Walking Dead? No, nigga! You're not talking to me. Okay, how about Game of Thrones? Indubitably, you know ball. But Cisco asked her if she ever felt like Dr. Wells could be evil, cause he went over the system failure of the force field they used to capture the Reverse Flash, and there was no system failure. Kate had to mention the fact that that man Wells was getting his ass beat though. So what, my nigga? Is he not still alive? Cisco was even down there checking it out for himself, asking all the right questions. But I'm sorry, little bro, she's busy.
Nah, my boy. She was someone else.
Type of answer you do not want to hear, seeing that there's a hologram of the Reverse Flash just standing there.
Menacingly!
For all this to be possible though, he begged Caitlin to distract Wells. She was out there in that field, sweating bullets. So what's your favorite color? He had to take off his glasses just to make sure he was hearing things right. Type of shit I be doing. Turning down the music just to parallel park and put them Cartier frames back on his nose and told Caitlin it was time to go wrap it up. And when she got up to pay the bill, he heard her whisper, "Don't worry, I'm gonna pretend I'm broke and the man over there will pay the bill." He was gone. He heard he might have to spend $20 and miraculously, he don't need that wheelchair no more. There's a reason he walks around with them Cartier frames. Took them off, realized they touched the dirty table and said, "Oh nah, let me pick them hoes back up. I need these to be spotless," trying to get that same roster as Tyreek from Power. And back at Star Labs, we see this.
Oh, I'm not like the Flash at all.
Some would say I'm the reverse. Oh my god.
Even Cisco was concerned. This nigga don't waste even a second to pass himself the ball. Had to compliment bro too.
You're him.
The self-glaze is commendable. The Reverse Flash introduced himself for real this time and explained everything. Told Cisco that his real name is Eobard Thawne and shows that he used a speed mirage to trick everyone. That same night they thought that they captured the Reverse Flash. He was in that bit like these and killed Cisco with no hesitation. Luckily though, this whole timeline was erased because Barry ended up going back in time. So Cisco ended up being perfectly fine. So I ended up breaking my TV for absolutely no reason, just for them to show me Captain Cold the next episode. I'ma keep it real, he may be a good character, but in this point in time, we do not care. But even though Cisco was alive now, the Reverse Flash felt the disturbance in his bones. He needed his kill count to be impeccable. So he decided to end someone else. There was this reporter who was trying to discredit Harrison Wells and pin him for the murder of Simon Stag. But the Reverse Flash was on that.
I heard you've been writing about Harrison Wells.
And hit him with an uppercut. So he started spilling the beans immediately. I know every single Londoner out there is pissed right now. Needed them beans for their toast. Saying that all the info is in the drive on his desk. Got launched into the ceiling and got used to mop the floor. And when he thought he was safe, he ended up with a fist through his chest. Reverse Flash took the body away and went back to his wheelchair. He just went from running at like Mach 10 to now moving in slow motion. I know he wishes that chair had more gears. Right now, all that bitch says is reverse, park, and turtle. I know he's sick. But Barry saw the news and put 2 and 2 together and let Joe know that he was right about Wells. That wheelchair he be riding on is only for the fashion. Once he gets up though, he's on some huss, he's gone. Anyways, we see the backstory of when Flash and Reverse Flash were boxing in that house, and the Reverse Flash got stranded there because he could no longer run at the necessary speed to travel through time. So he decided to stalk the real Harrison Wells. They were driving back home, talking freaky.
Put on my pajamas, go straight to bed when we get home.
Really?
No, definitely not wearing pajamas.
Oh. Hello.
But their tires popped and the car flips over. And when Wells is struggling to get out the car, here comes Thawne. Saw that the nigga was already in pain and said, hold up, let me see him struggle some more. Picking him up by the collar and throwing him to the ground before stealing his body from him. Saw the baddie, the money, the brains, and said, you living a bit too luxurious. Back in the present though, Barry and Joe decided it was time for them to let Eddie in on the secret. And now they're trying to figure out how they're gonna deal with the fact that Wells is the Reverse Flash. But they couldn't really come up with an explanation. The team right now consists of Albert Einstein and 2 cops. So unless they're planning on shooting jaywalkers, they're useless. So they went ahead and let Caitlin and Cisco know that Wells is the Reverse Flash. Caitlin was in denial. She ain't want to believe it. But Cisco was like, you know, I've been having these dreams where Dr. Wells revealed that he was the Reverse Flash right before he killed me. Yeah, it was raps. Now all they needed was some proof to make sure they weren't tripping. And that's why Joe and Cisco made their way over to Starling City to investigate the crash site where Harrison Wells' car flipped over, finding a dead body buried in the dirt. And when they ran the test, it was without a doubt the real Harrison Wells. Calm down, we already knew this information, my nigga. And they even found the secret room where he keeps his suit. Gideon was in there answering every single question. Offered her a new CPU and she said, nah, no need, we doing this for free. So they laid out a plan to try and get Wells to confess to the murder. Cisco was down by the force field again, but this time he made it so the speedsters can't get inside. So when Wells showed up, he booted up the force field to protect himself until he saw Wells step inside. He damn near shit himself. And you already know how Joe was moving. Barry tried to catch the bullets, but one managed to slip through and hit Wells. So Barry thought it was over. His dad is about to sit in that prison cell eating Lunchables for the rest of his life. But it wasn't Wells. I've already told you, I'm always one step ahead. Barry was so pissed, ran to the secret room just to see that Wells was actually watching all of them since day one and really did have the upper hand. He even took Eddie. Eddie was trying to propose and got snatched away. Told his own ancestor to throw the ring in the garbage. He won't be needing it anyway. But Wells turns on the particle accelerator and the team end up saving Eddie, and we move on to the final fight. Once the particle accelerator was charged and ready, this man Wells walked up to the front gate. No suit, no nothing. He said, yeah, we doing this. Just full of confidence. He saw Barry pull up with Firestorm and Green Arrow, and he wasn't fazed. And I don't blame him. Oliver is about to be out there shooting at straight gifts. After images, he gonna have to pull out that Hawkeye signature and throw his weapon away. Wells decided to flex the suit up. And while Barry was handling the 1v1, here comes Oliver talking about some
Move, Barry! Barry, move!
Bro, you not fooling me. I know you cannot see them. He could do 400 push-ups and run laps around China, and I don't care. He's saying, move Barry, to try and make it seem like he's a part of the team. But we all know that nigga can't see shit. Barry gets flung into the sign, and now that the reverse flash absolutely frozen, that's when Oliver got the chance to use his arrows. And Ronnie tries to up some points too, but he got sent flying across the city. Barry had to run 14 blocks just to catch him. In the meantime though, the arrow that Oliver used disabled the reverse flash's speed for a bit. So Oliver was quick to run the fade, booted up that Mortal Kombat move list and was spamming. Got hit with a pipe and immediately started putting the paws on. He got bonked and was like, wait, this can't be. Saw the washed allegations appearing out of thin air. He almost got nightmares. They laughing in his face, but he said, I'm leaving here with Song, and started beating him. The reverse flash manages to vibrate the nanites out his body, so his speed was back and he was a 99 overall again. And when he was about to end Oliver, Barry came through and started chasing him, leading to the reverse flash getting sent crashing onto a car, and Oliver hits him with another arrow. And you know the rest. Barry ended up going back in time, but decided not to save his mom, came back to knock Wells out the pod, and Eddie shot himself to prevent the reverse flash from ever existing. So Iris was single again and Barry could get a chance with her. Now that the video is done, I hope y'all enjoyed, and now I could start moving like Thanos.
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Seems to let me know